everyone. I saw a post recently that said, as a general rule, err on the side of Greta Thunberg, and I can't think of a better rule of thumb, honestly. Not that Greta is infallible, but she is one of the most ideologically and behaviorally consistent activists of our time. Last week, she posted a scathing critique of celebrities who fail to utilize their massive platforms to speak out against the current atrocities we are witnessing. Quote, "If you, in everything that is going on in terms of escalating imperialism, genocides, climate and ecological collapse, complete erosion of democracy and human rights, have a platform, but every day continue to actively choose not to use it to take a stance, then you will not be forgiven." And now, of course, I'm not talking about spineless, watered-down statements like "save the world," or "I want equality in theory, but not in practice," and "just for my part of the world." One of the extremely few tools we have at hand now is the possibility of outreach to try and impact public opinion. This is especially true if you belong to a demographic group that is benefiting from these oppressive systems. You who have platforms have the immense privilege of setting the narrative. People look up to you, and therefore you have a huge responsibility of pushing the limits of what is considered mainstream. You are never not encouraged to change and move over to the side of justice, and it is never too late to do your best. But the fact that you still do not use your extremely valuable outreach that many would kill for, because you are scared of it impacting your career, your popularity, or some other incomprehensible excuse, just know that you will not be forgiven. And in time, I would be surprised if you will be able to forgive yourself. Damn. She didn't call out any celebrities directly, but that's what I'll be doing in this video. I'm coming for your faves, guys. Celebrities, especially female celebrities, are criticized heavily, typically for inane shit like their appearance. God forbid you gain weight or age. Then they are criticized for having cosmetic procedures done or taking Ozempic, which can you really blame them considering the scrutiny they're under? Unless they're lying about it, who cares? And then, of course, they're criticized for being overtly sexual, which I couldn't care less about. Be sexy. Sing about being a horny little slut. I'm here for it. In tandem, they're blamed for their own sexual abuse and criticized for calling out their abusers. I will defend these celebs fiercely from this type of criticism. It must be hard to deal with all this misogynistic bullshit, and I genuinely feel for them. But there is another type of criticism they face that is often valid, and that is a lot of these people are disgustingly wealthy, out of touch, selfish fucking hypocrites. Let's start with the Kardashian-Jenner clan. While it was Kourtney Kardashian who delivered this iconic line, demonstrating a shred of self-awareness, this whole family can fuck off forever. They may not be cartoon villains, but they still represent a lot of what is wrong with the world. They display disgusting levels of opulence and materialism, and in lying about the cosmetic work they've had done, they promote unrealistic beauty standards. People respect their business acumen, but to me, this is just another negative attribute rather than a positive one.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
To succeed in business to the degree that they have requires the exploitation of workers and the environment. There is nothing respectable about being an entrepreneur if your business is fast fashion and you profit off sweatshop labor. Girl boss feminism, which seeks to simply replace the shitty men in power with shitty women, is not true feminism. True feminism seeks to empower and liberate all women. Girl boss feminism does not do this. Kim is quoted in an article in Cosmo, "I believe in climate change, and I believe that anything can help. But I also believe in being realistic, and I think sometimes there's so much to worry about on this planet, and it can be really scary to live your life with anxiety." The 41-year-old, whose private jet has reportedly emitted 4,268 tons of carbon emissions, 609 times more than the average person, went on. "I have super climate change involved friends, and I love learning from them. I do what I can, but you have to pick and choose what really works for you in your life. No one's gonna be 100% perfect," she concluded. Kim, you are a billionaire. Doing what you can implies that you are helping to the best of your ability. You are not doing what you can to prevent climate collapse while you run a fast fashion empire and jet set around the world. Passing out band-aids to kids with broken legs is not helpful, especially when you're the one who broke their legs. Truly doing what you can would involve 1, stop breaking kids' legs, and 2, provide them with casts so they can actually heal. Next on my shit list is Hailey Bieber. I don't have much to say other than she's besties with Kylie Jenner, and recently became a billionaire after her skincare line Rhode was acquired by e.l.f. Props to Rhode for being cruelty-free, but this was clearly a business decision rather than an ethical one, as she shamelessly wears fur and shills for the dairy industry. Gross. Next is Timothée Chalamet. What the fuck was he thinking, saying, "It's hard to be alive right now. I think societal collapse is in the air," while dating Kylie Jenner? It's the billionaires making it hard to be alive right now and driving societal collapse. Kylie may not technically be a billionaire anymore, but with a net worth of over $700 million, she's close enough. We could talk about Katy Perry and her recent space stunt, but I think the internet has clowned on her enough over that, so I'd rather turn the focus to her co-passenger, Lauren Sanchez. If you don't know who Lauren Sanchez is, she is Jeff Bezos' new wife.
Jeffrey Bezos! Congratulations!
Anyway, Lauren is basically Bezos' PR manager, constantly posting photos with him and talking about how kind and loving and charitable he is. Her Instagram is vomit-inducing. Here's a clip she shared with a caption that reads, "When my kids ask why I'm optimistic about the future, I tell them it's because of all the brilliant people who are working on the climate crisis." And Jeff shares that optimism. Listen to him accepting the ICCF's Good Steward Award for the Bezos Earth Fund's commitment to nature conservation.
My own love of nature started early. As a boy, I spent summers with my grandparents on their ranch in South Texas. In 2021, I had my own opportunity to go to space and look back at Earth. When I landed back on the Texas soil, I returned with a renewed commitment to help protect the natural world in the here and now. I went with Lauren and a team from the Bezos Earth Fund to Glasgow for COP26 and pledged $3 billion for nature. $1 billion to protect what we still have, $1 billion to restore what we've lost, and $1 billion to help transform food systems. We are going to go forwards and invent our way out. We will have a better natural world and the modern society that we all enjoy. When the crew of Apollo 8 was circling the moon, the astronaut Jim Lovell looked back at Earth. "I'd been hoping to go to heaven when I die," he said. "Now I realize you go to heaven when you're born." Earth is paradise, and we must protect it.
We're supposed to believe that Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man and one of the worst climate offenders, is deserving of praise for his commitment to fighting climate change. To me, these people are worse than cartoon villains, because at least cartoon villains are upfront with their evil intentions. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez put on this veneer of philanthropy while carrying on with their selfish endeavors that ultimately have a worse impact than many cartoon villains. They may not have evil intentions. They may believe their own bullshit so they can sleep at night, but their ecological footprint, both from their business ventures and from their personal lifestyles, is a crime against humanity nonetheless. Newlyweds Bezos and Sanchez attempted to rent out the city of Venice for their $50 million wedding, and Venetians were not having it. According to the BBC, private jets are expected to jam up the Venice airport, with private yachts taking over the harbor. The A-list mega event has attracted protest from a variety of groups, from locals fighting over tourism to climate change activists and those who oppose Bezos' support for Donald Trump. Activists unfurled a giant image of Bezos in the Piazza San Marco, protesting against the super rich with the slogan, "If you can rent Venice for your wedding, then you can pay more tax." Our protest isn't about the wedding itself, it's about what it represents, Greenpeace campaigner Simona Abate, who was there, told the BBC. This isn't just a celebration of two people getting married, it's a display of a lifestyle that is simply unsustainable. The richest live in excess, while others endure the consequences of a climate emergency they didn't create. Speaking of Bezos' wedding, we have to talk about the guest list for a sec. If you went to this wedding, you are on my shit list. Like, what the fuck are you doing, making a public display of support for this vile couple? Among the guest list was Bill Gates, Jared and Ivanka Trump, and the Kardashian Jenners, which checks out. But Sydney Sweeney? JoJo? Really? And for some reason, I thought better of Oprah and Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, I knew they were both hypocrites when it came to climate advocacy, but it's disappointing to see them celebrating one of the world's biggest climate criminals. And they likely flew in on private jets, as it was reported that over 90 private jets landed in northern Italy for Bezos' wedding. Just a quick note on private jets, because I will be roasting celebs for flying private jets in this video. I understand that when you reach a certain level of fame, you have legitimate security concerns, especially if you are speaking out about controversial political issues. I think Bernie Sanders and AOC, for example, are justified in using a private jet for their Fight Oligarchy tour. Mobilizing the masses to join a political revolution to fight corruption and climate collapse is a justifiable reason to fly private. Attending a wedding, a concert, or a football game, on the other hand, is not. Which brings us to everybody's favorite billionaire, Taylor Swift. I am not a Swiftie, but I like enough Taylor Swift songs that I can't really say I'm a hater. In general, I feel pretty neutral about Taylor as a person and as a musician. But when I have my critical hat on, I am not impressed with her milquetoast activism and lifestyle choices. While I do appreciate that she recognizes the power of her platform and has made her politics known despite being advised against it, at the end of the day, she is your typical liberal billionaire, and billionaires by definition are not doing enough. You will not be forgiven for all those frivolous private jet flights. And also, kind of fuck Taylor Swift for suing Olivia Rodrigo. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the bridge in Olivia's song Deja Vu kinda sounds similar to the bridge in Taylor's song Cruel Summer. Taylor's team took legal action and demanded 50% songwriting credits and royalties. Which is kind of a shitty move if you ask me, considering Olivia is a much younger artist who looked up to Taylor. Like, give her a fucking break. Do you need more recognition, Taylor? Or money? I just think that if it were me, I would be flattered that some new artist who is a self-proclaimed super fan of mine took inspiration from one of my songs, and I would have no interest in demanding royalties. Another celeb who has used their platform to speak up, but in my opinion misses the mark, is Ariana Grande. Like Taylor Swift, Ariana has made her political opinions known, standing up for the LGBT community and denouncing Trump. Going even further than Taylor, she has shown unequivocal support for Palestinians. She's even supposedly been vegan since 2013. The reason she's on my shit list is because she glorifies consumerism and infidelity. If you don't know the drama that went down on the set of Wicked, in short, she allegedly cheated on her husband with her co-star Ethan Slater, a married man who had just had a baby with his longtime partner. Some fans claim that the discourse around the cheating scandal was misogynistic because it's centered on Ariana being a homewrecker, as if the other woman is to blame for men cheating. I agree that SpongeBob deserves blame for cheating on his postpartum wife, but Ariana shares the blame. In my opinion, being a homewrecker is really no different than cheating. She claims they didn't cheat, but the timeline doesn't lie. And her true colors were revealed in Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored, where she sings, "I know it ain't right, but I don't care." And it doesn't help her case that she has a history of cheating, allegedly. Then, after all the backlash, what does she do? Releases Yes and The Boy Is Mine, taking zero accountability and rubbing her relationship in everybody's face. But this doesn't make her a climate criminal. It's just shitty behavior that is hard for me to look past. What makes her a climate criminal is all of her luxury brand partnerships and private jet flights. This gross materialism is on display in her song 7 Rings, where she sings, "Look at my neck, look at my jet, ain't no budget when I'm on the set, if I like it, then that's what I get." This reveals to me that Ariana wants equality in theory, but not in practice. Lastly, I want to talk about celebrity brand partnerships in general. Creators with moderate platforms get a pass for taking sponsorships. I mean, there's a line, of course, but I get it, you've got bills to pay. But actors and pop stars and creators with massive platforms who make more than enough money, please get the fuck out of my face with the sponsored posts. I always cringe when I see celebrities like Jennifer Aniston, who makes hundreds of millions off Friends royalties and other roles, shilling for things like Smart Water, which, in case you forgot, there's a floating island of plastic twice the size of Texas in the Pacific Ocean. We should not be drinking bottled water. And Aveeno, a drugstore skincare brand. Like, are you hurting for cash, Jen? Maybe she does actually use Aveeno products, but I find that hard to believe. Of course, if celebs partner with luxury beauty brands, they'll be criticized for being out of touch, as the majority of people cannot afford such products. But this isn't a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, because there's the option to not take sponsorships at all. Like, you already have a lucrative job acting or singing or whatever. Do you really need to be a brand ambassador on top of that? Influencing people to buy shit they don't need, shit that often involves human and animal exploitation, is shameful. It's shameful enough to use your platform to promote consumerism, but it's especially shameful when that's all you seem to be using your platform for. Gorgeous and sexy Sabrina Carpenter, who blesses us with banger after banger, sadly belongs on this list. Not only has she worn fur on multiple occasions and partnered with shitty brands like Skims, she also has not said a peep about politics, probably out of fear of losing fans and brand deals. Shame. As one person wrote on Emma Chamberlain's post announcing her partnership with Aritzia, literally, we don't care. A genocide is happening.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Then we have celebs who will cave to public pressure to comment on current affairs. But instead of taking a strong stance that is meaningful, they post spineless, watered-down statements about world peace, as Greta put it. While I don't condone Jenna Ortega and Olivia Rodrigo partnering with companies like Adidas, a fast fashion brand, and Lancome, a makeup brand that tests on animals, at least they have used their platform to speak up for Palestinian rights. If you recognize the power your platform gives you to make money and influence consumer trends, you must recognize the power you have to make a positive impact and influence public opinion. None of this is to say that celebrities must speak about every single important issue of our time. That is a ridiculous standard to hold them to. We shouldn't expect actors and musicians to be as informed as we should expect politicians and political commentators to be. And if you have a massive platform, you probably shouldn't speak on things you aren't informed about. But just, pick a few, and align your actions with your values. That's all I'm asking. Nobody is perfect, but shout out to Cardi B, Chappell Roan, Elliot Page, Bo Burnham, Bill Burr, Miss Rachel, Shailene Woodley, Jane Fonda, Mark Ruffalo, and Joaquin Phoenix for using their platforms for good. We see you. While I do agree with Greta and think it's important for celebs to use their platforms to advocate for social justice, I have to talk about how social change occurs because it's somewhat counterintuitive. We tend to overestimate the impact influencers and celebrities have in changing social norms because they're so effective at reinforcing social norms. Sociologist Damon Santola argues in his book Change that there are two types of social contagions: simple contagions and complex contagions. Simple contagions, like fashion trends, spread quickly from the core of a social network, a well-connected influencer or celebrity, to the periphery. But complex contagions that require behavioral change or come at some social cost do not spread this way. A mainstream influencer or celebrity may be able to increase people's awareness of veganism, for example, but awareness does not translate to adoption. For complex contagions, change spreads from the periphery to the core. Most people need reinforcement from others in their social network to actually change their behavior. Well-connected people are less likely to be early adopters of complex contagions because they're surrounded by countervailing influences. Whereas the people at the periphery of a social network, the outcasts, are less inclined to care what other people think, and are thus more likely to be early adopters. It may be fair to criticize celebs and influencers for their silence, but in overestimating their power to change public opinion, we're underestimating our own. To me, the focus of our criticism of celebrities should be their complicity. Not in the silence is complicity sense, but in their actual complicity. Their massive environmental footprint and reinforcement of consumer culture and capitalist ideals. And the focus of our criticism in general should be on the capitalist structure that allows these people to hoard wealth and resources. Because at the end of the day, celebrities are just people who, in combination with hard work and talent in many cases, lucked out. Half of the people who are criticizing them for being climate criminals would be climate criminals themselves if they were in their shoes. Taylor Swift is not uniquely evil. She is a morally average person, tempted by the convenience of hopping on a private jet instead of a bus. So to the people saying, why should I change my behavior when Kim Kardashian emits more carbon in a single day than I do in a whole year? This attitude is the underlying problem. I encourage you to read the book Change because your actions at the periphery are more impactful than you think they are. You have more power than you think you do. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and stay tuned for the next one. Alright, peace out.